Namaste, Jai Kali, Jai Mahadev, Jai Bharat. And today I've come up with an interesting topic. I thought that maybe I should do this long back, but I was a little hesitant and I was not that sure. But finally, have gathered all my courage and I have put it together, and here it is. So today I'm going to tell you all, or rather exclusively, I would share it with all the parents who are watching this. 5 things that can leave your child traumatized. So please avoid, or rather, I would put it in a simpler way, 5 things parents should avoid that actually traumatizes their child. And number one, stop fighting in front of them. Trust me, I grew up in a family where, my parents used to fight. Since the time I started, understanding things, and growing up, I have always seen them, I had seen them often fighting. And trust me, in a way, that did impact me. My grades went zero. I could not be I couldn't perform well in school. And also I had a lot of these anxiety, depression, and a lot of low self-esteem issues that started happening since childhood only because of constantly seeing them fighting. And also from my personal experience, I would like to say is that, seeing your parents constantly fighting also, some way or the other, it clouds your judgment when you grow up. You lose that power to judge things on a rational level. You tend to either make mistakes or become biased. So yes, that is the first point that I wanted to bring about to your notice, that please stop fighting in front of your children. Some parents might say, we are fighting, we are not fighting with the children. No, 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 no. Studies have proven if there is no healthy environment in the childhood or in the family, it impacts the person's mind, it impacts the child's mind. So please avoid it, it helps. Number two is that using corporal punishment. And again, from my personal, experience, I would say that I used to be often beaten up very badly. They literally used to beat up the shit out of me. Trust me, my parents. And it used to be very silly things, nothing like very major that I have done, but it used to be silly things like, eating without their permission, or maybe, when guests would come over and we all were sitting and then some things were served, I used to often get up and have some cookies or biscuit, and in return I used to get beaten up then and there in front of the guests. And also, like, if I used to turn on the TV before time, we all were supposed to watch TV after dinner, and if I used to often get tempted and open up the television before, then I used to get beaten up. If I used to get low grades, I used to get beaten up. So I did not feel quite well, let me tell you this. I started seeing my parents as an enemy. I did not have that love. That love started fading. I started seeing them as an enemy, or maybe someone who is constantly trying to beat the shit out of me and trying to control. So the imaging of a parent has to be someone who is very loving, someone who is very cooperative, someone who is very supportive. The child shouldn't identify the parent as an enemy. So these corporal punishments, in fact, I used to get beaten up in the school also. And the same thing happened. I started developing, I started identifying my teachers as enemies. So, it did not create a good impact. It did deteriorate me. So I'm sharing rather all these things from my own experience. And one should avoid, parents should avoid. The best way is to talk it out with kids rather than beating the crap out of them. So please don't do that. I'm requesting you all. It affects your child's brain. And all this that I'm mentioning, I have gone through. So I have got a first-hand experience and I can validate. Later, I studied in psychology, all of these things. So I'm, able to try to words and present it in front of you. But one should avoid. Now, number three is playing favorites. a parent should not, give too much of love to one and no love to the other. If there are more than one kids, everyone should be treated equally. And yes, I have seen, our cousins used to be loved more compared to us, by my parents. So it also used to affect us. We all used to feel as if that, we are not needed, or maybe we are not supposed to be here where we are. And that further, made us have low self-esteem. That did not help us build up confidence, because in the house where we need to be open and we need to be confident, there only we started feeling that we are not needed, we are not the good ones, someone else is the good one. So, that also influences the low self-esteem thing and low confidence, inferiority complex. And that is the point when the child goes inward and doesn't go outward. So, never play those favorite things. Everyone should be treated equally in front of the kids. Special treatment should be avoided. If you have 4 kids, or if there are 4 kids in the house, just treat all of them equally. Don't treat one to be very good and the others to be different. It impacts. I hope I'm making sense. It does impact. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. And yes, this was point number 3. Point number 4 is emotional neglect. I also faced this, often I was, I don't know, there was a lot of these profiling done by teacher in the school. I was not good in English. I studied in an English medium school, but, though I was very poor in English till class 4. And, the teacher used to say that you're from such a family, you will never be able to speak English. And a lot of these discrimination, these teachers, it was an Anglo-Indian teacher, and she used to really do a lot of these, she used to say a lot of these evil things that used to really break my confidence. And I used to feel really horrible. And upon coming back home, when I used to share this with my parents, they used to say, oh, you're too weak, you need to just stand up. They were never able to come, connect to the emotional thing that I was, having. Rather than they used to just neglect that, oh no, you are a bad performer, maybe you should work hard. That is the duty of a teacher. See, teacher's duty is to boost your confidence. Teacher's duty is to really uplift you, not to keep demoralizing you, or to, making you feel bad or inferior on the basis of your background or upbringing. So, this was one of the aspects. And apart from that, often some of my parents' friends used to come home, and a couple of them were non-Indians also. And the only language that was used to communicate was English, of course. And again, I was not that good. So again, my parents used to, criticize me that you are unable to speak English. And we have a very bad, thing to face in front of the guests. And you are unable to, communicate with their kids because you don't know the language. So all these things, lead to that emotional neglect. The parents need to feel and understand how the child is feeling and help them recover and come out of it, rather than just saying, oh, you are weak, oh, you're doing drama, oh, you're over exaggerating. No, that really, really, really weighs your child's, self-confidence down. So kindly please stop, emotionally neglecting your child. It does affect. And I have gone through every point that I'm mentioning. I just want to repeat once again, every point that I'm mentioning, I have felt it, I have thought about it, and then I'm sharing it with you guys. And it does affect. Now, moving on to the last point that I have is that, emphasizing good grades too much, or, comparing other kids, that also really affects too much, growing up. We all were so burdened. I wouldn't talk about my sister, but I would talk about myself. We all were so burdened that, it used to be nightmare even to go to the school, because if any test happens, and our parents had this set expectation that we have to get 99%. I don't know, it's absolutely illogical and inhumane, but they did not want to know whether I'm capable or not of achieving that score, but they just wanted me to get it anyhow. And it didn't work out. It doesn't work out that way. And I used to fail miserably because I used to feel really pressured. And again, I used to go for the exams, and it really used to be messed up. And coming back home with such poor grades was even more tormenting. Lots of, again, corporal punishment, beating up, abuses. And we there was a time when I almost started believing that a child has to have good grades. Only then a child can become a good person in future. Are you understanding? My way of perceiving things started becoming so acute that I started literally thinking that if I'm growing up and if I'm not getting good grades, I might not land up being a good person. I might be an evil person, a bad person, which is absolutely different. I mean, like, it's not how it is. I mean, grades really don't, influence who you become in future. So, I mean, like, a lot of these generalized thoughts I had, I was very scared. And it did contribute, it did traumatize me. So, I mean, like, the entire moral of this video is to create an awareness that, avoid these 5 things. And I'll repeat again, avoid fighting in front of your children, please. Fight closed doors, don't fight in front of your children or when they are next door. Children are very sensitive and it affects them. Second thing is that avoid, using corporal punishment. Third is stop playing favorites. Treat all of them equally. Fourth is emotional neglect. Please listen to them, comfort them, handle their problems with compassion because they feel really left out. And fifth and the last point is, please kindly don't make this, a kind of a, status quo or, something which is like revered as good grades. I mean, it's okay. Good and bad exist. So don't judge your child on the basis of getting good grades or bad grades, and don't put pressure. Let your child study, evolve, encourage them, and please kindly don't do these things. It did affect me. I'm sure it must have affected others also. So yes, let's create awareness and avoid these things. I hope you all like the video. Please do like, share, subscribe the video. And I hope you all must have had checked out my website. That is www.kaalidasi.com. Please do check out my website as well. Thank you so much. Have a great day.